Wednesdays. We are here every Wednesday at 9:15. Tonight I have Dr. Nicole. How you doing, lady?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
I'm awake for now.
I know, right? Look, I'm sorry I got you up here late. Look, everybody don't be going to sleep at 10, 11 o'clock like me. I'll be a
Only
night
for
owl
you.
sometimes.
Only for my Sarah. Only for my Sarah.
Yes, look, it's Founders Day tomorrow. Shout out to the Reds.
I'm
Look,
out.
Durham County in the house.
That's right. That's right.
So look, you don't need no introduction. You are doing a thing. You are a doctor. You are a author. You have your own publishing company, and you are doing Q&A with COVID. So how has that been? Tell everybody about yourself and how this new transition with COVID has been for you in medicine.
We tied.
Right,
No. Hi, everybody.
right.
I am Nicole Swiner, otherwise known as DocSwiner. Very happy to be on here with my soror, A Ruth Proctor, the TV star herself. And my main gig is as a family physician. I've been doing family medicine for almost 15 years. Um, Came and fell in love with Durham in undergrad at Duke, and then went home to Charleston for medical school at MUSC, then came back to UNC for residency, and then stayed. So I've been here, and I consider myself a Durhamite.
Yes.
Yeah. So, that's kind of my background and how I got
Love it.
here and how I fell in love with this area. And I've been practicing and co-own a practice called Durham Family Medicine here in the Durham area. And during the last 7 or 8 years, as I transitioned into a business owner, owning the practice, and then got married and had kids and kind of
Yes.
developed things from that, I started doing some writing, some publishing, and then kind of developed some other things outside of that. So Durham will definitely give you the entrepreneur bug. Uh,
Yes.
Very contagious. This
Yes.
is what like Wall Street was
Right.
and still is. And so I think I got that bug and started creating some things, and here I am.
That's dope, man. You are amazing. It's so good to see a female doctor, and then a black female doctor at that. Okay, I think it's amazing. It looks good and it feels good to see someone that looks like me on the other side of the table, and on the other side of the medicine aspect, all of that good stuff. And I know right before we got started, you was telling me that in March you would no longer be practicing medicine. So what does that look like for you in COVID?
Yeah, I quit. That's what I mean. No, well, I quit from the medical perspective, but
Hmm.
I still will always be a doctor, a
Yeah,
physician. That's just ingrained in me in terms of
yeah,
helping people and helping them to learn how to take better care of themselves in all ways. And so I'm going to shift more into the health and wellness side of things, the more natural side of things,
wow,
and be on that side. So I still will be very heavily involved in health. But
yeah,
yeah, it's going to be interesting. My patients that I've been taking care of for the past more than 13 years are definitely going through a bit of culture shock themselves. Realizing
mhm.
that I'm not going to be within the four walls of Durham Family
Right,
Medicine, but I'd like to think that I'm here. I'm
right,
present. I'm
right.
worldwide. There's the World
Exactly,
Wide Web, there's social
exactly.
media, there's news, there's
Right,
journalism, all kinds of ways I can still spread the message about
exactly.
health and COVID clearly has been a huge part of that for the past 2 years. And so I've tried to do my best to educate the community on
Right.
how to prevent and treat and, stay alive during the
Yes,
pandemic.
yes. And you do a Q&A for regarding COVID, right? So what does that look like? How
Yeah,
does
so most of that really, so I usually will jump on social media and vent when I'm mad about stuff and
I
just
caught you last
frustrated.
week? I was like, okay, I was able to catch you last week.
I was
Ooh,
frustrated, yeah,
yeah,
because we actually had our clinic finally got hit. The staff, actually, a number of them turned positive, so we had to deal with it in real life, in real time in the clinic. And I'll give us some credit in that we lasted this long without a big outbreak. But this Omicron Amarion variant is something different.
right,
Uh,
right.
so I usually will get on social media and vent, but I'm regularly on WRAL on the local
I
news doing.
seen it. Yes.
Yeah. So
Congratulations. That's
thank
dope.
you, thank you. Yeah, I was fortunate to get hooked up with one of the fantastic Black female producers there, and so she is
Wow.
definitely giving me a I don't, not spotlight, but it's giving me
Yeah.
some moments to tell my
Yeah.
truth side
That's
from the medical.
good.
Yeah, so I'll do that monthly, and then people want me to come on different channels or different podcasts. I'll talk about what I've learned over the last 2 years about COVID and treating people and all that.
I love it. Is there anything you want to share? Is there anything you want to let the people know regarding, continue? I know we've been in this for 2 years and it's just been, so many different pieces, but it feels good and it definitely gives me comfort to see another black female doctor, giving advice and telling us what we should and shouldn't be doing because for so many years we've seen the opposite. You know what I'm saying? And we don't know who's really for us and who's not. So it definitely is amazing to see a black female doctor. So is there anything you want to share regarding COVID?
I mean, at risk of sounding controversial, I know we've been, I in particular have been preaching till I've been blue in the face about
Yeah.
vaccinations. I know
Right.
people have their different feelings about it.
Right.
Um, this really is not going to get better. Like we can't
Right.
just wait for natural herd immunity to happen.
Right.
That means everybody has to get sick, and I
Right.
don't think that's fair because
Right.
not all of us will survive sickness and survive
Exactly.
the infection. So if you are able, if you are eligible, if you are healthy enough, please get vaccinated, get your booster. I will say the majority of cases that I've treated, particularly with this Omicron variant, folks have been unvaccinated and have
Wow.
suffered greatly,
Wow.
or they were vaccinated but didn't or forgot to or chose not to get their booster.
Okay.
So there's that gap. So even if you got your first two shots or your first Johnson and Johnson, please get your booster because not getting your booster still makes you as susceptible, maybe even close to not being vaccinated at all. So
Wow.
I'm gonna leave it there. Talk to
Okay.
your providers. Don't get your messages from, I'm saying don't get your messages from media, and here we are on YouTube. But
But you a doctor though. Look, you
but
a
I'm
real doctor.
actually do this in real life, right? I don't just play a doctor on TV. I am a
Right.
doctor. So,
Exactly.
right. So talk to your medical providers. Don't read the news. Don't listen to media. Talk to actual people treating the disease and have the conversation with them.
I love it. Y'all heard it from DocSwiner herself. Okay, y'all better go get that booster because I have
Mm,
even myself. I have gotten the both of the vaccinations, but
mm-hmm.
I was just like, I don't need I don't need the booster. What do I need the booster for? And so hearing you say that, I'm like, okay, I'll go ahead and get the booster. Because it's a lot. It's
It's
just a lot to
exploding.
take.
Like the numbers right now, and I hate to sound morbid, but the numbers right now are the highest they've been the entire pandemic. The entire pandemic. These are the highest numbers we've had. And so and thankfully, I will say I think, now that we're past the holidays,
Right.
I think the last 2 weeks was the peak from things from
Wow.
like the New Year's Eve celebrations,
Right.
right? So I'm
Right.
hopeful that over the next couple of days we'll start seeing a decline. But
Right.
don't play around.
Right.
Let's try to stay ahead of this thing because there will be more variants.
Right.
Um, and
Sadly, but
protect.
true. Definitely. And I think the black community, a lot of us are scared. We have been, hearing so many stories, and all the different things that go around. Like you said, people watching social media, seeing stuff and not knowing what's true. And then the myths and then, all the negativity that comes with all of this. So I can't imagine what you guys are dealing with as physicians. I know what we deal with on the mental health side, but I can't imagine what you guys deal with in the hospitals and the doctor's offices and stuff. So my hat's off to you.
Mhm.
Continue to pray and trust and know that God got you. I know, you are coming in contact with all kinds of people, all kinds of illnesses, whether it's COVID or something else. So I can't imagine, like how you keep your sanity. So how do you take care of yourself? How do you, pour into Nicole?
Yeah, yeah. Well, ultimately I made the decision to quit. So that was big. but before that point, we talked a lot or before we went live, we talked about the Superwoman Complex, which is kind of my
Yes.
ministry. And so I try to practice what I preach in terms of self-care and mental health. So I
Yes.
reconnected with my therapist.
Yeah,
I
I know
said,
that's right.
girl,
Me
you're gonna
too.
have to help. You have to
Please
help,
let
right?
me.
Yes, and mine is Black females. Shout out to
Yes.
Michelle Chambers. I have
Yes.
no shame
I
in my
love it.
game.
Exactly.
With my
Exactly.
therapist, yes,
Exactly.
reconnected with her. My husband and family, we
Yes.
got together and said, okay, this is how we're going to move forward. This is how
Right.
we're going to navigate and
Right.
move in this pandemic.
Right.
We have great friends,
That's
created a pod that and a bubble that makes us feel safe.
good.
Um, and then,
Good.
I try to still all the things that I would hopefully normally do even outside of the pandemic is
Right.
getting my good sleep,
Yep.
trying to exercise regularly,
Yes.
taking lots of breaks, and creating those boundaries, creating those
Yes.
boundaries in friendships, creating those
Yes.
boundaries with my work folks and my
Right.
patients
Right.
to say, my work hours were from here to here.
Right.
If you want to contact me outside of that, here's how you schedule.
Exactly.
Here's where you drop the cash app.
Right. That part.
And
So
that's
it's
hard.
not for free.
And that's hard because I get DMs all the time, like, "Oh
I
yeah, I
believe
just
it.
saw your live and wanted to ask you." I'm like, ugh.
Right.
And so creating those boundaries is definitely a big piece, a big piece.
Definitely. I had this something I would say I had to learn over the years. I was definitely that person that just kind of was like yes, yes, yes to everybody. And when Ruth needed something or when I needed help, nobody was there to help pick up the pieces. And so eventually I started putting boundaries in place, but not really probably the healthiest way at times because I was shut down. And
Yeah.
look, going through this divorce the last 2 years, I got a therapist and I finally agreed and admitted that I needed therapy. Because look, in the black community, we could be like,
Health
God,
folks are the worst. We're the
yes,
worst.
I'll
Health
be all
folks
right.
are the
I don't need no help. Like you said, how to avoid the Superwoman Complex. So I would love to hear about this book.
yeah.
I gotta read it. I gotta get it. How can we get it? Can you tell everybody a little bit about it?
So I wrote this book probably 3 or 4 months after having my first child, going
Okay.
back to work, after maternity leave, running a business, seeing the patients, caring for everybody, and passed out at work. So that hitting the floor taught me a lesson. Hitting rock bottom literally taught me a lesson in self-care. Like clearly I wasn't doing enough for myself so that I
Right.
could help take care of these people.
Right.
And then did about 2 years later, did the second book called A Follow-Up Visit on the Superwoman Complex. And it talked about
Okay.
how the first book I think is, and they're both available on Amazon and on my
Yeah, go get
website.
that.
Yay. And so the first book kind of defines what is the Superwoman Complex, what's the research behind it, what are the signs
Okay.
and symptoms. The second one, A Follow-Up Visit, talks about more of my personal journey. So
Okay.
my journey through, motherhood, entrepreneurship, what I try to do to keep myself sane, and
Okay.
how we all can do better to focus on self-care and mental health. So,
I love it. I love
mhm.
it. And that's so important. And I touched on a little bit of it in my book with the tips, but I
Yes.
mean it needs to be talked about. We don't talk about it enough how we constantly just tack on more and more trauma and mess. And we
Yeah.
continue to, go out in society and be in other relationships and we still haven't dealt with none of the baggage from childhood, from adulthood, or whatever we dealt with as adults.
Yeah. I think as Black women, we are often put in the position of martyr
Yeah.
and matriarch, right? So we are always the ones that people look to.
Yep.
Think about this nation, right? This nation is constantly looking to women,
Right.
specifically Black women, to carry the burden on their shoulders and to fix it.
Yep.
Everybody thinks we have the solution, and we usually do.
Yeah.
We usually do.
Yeah. It's true.
What women and Black
It's,
women in particular are fabulous.
yeah.
But we don't have to fix it all the time. We
Right.
we don't have to be the ones up at night, can't
Right.
sleep, can't rest because we're worried about fixing everybody else's stuff. We have to
Exactly.
we have to be selfish and focus on ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
If COVID ain't taught anybody anything, is that you better take care of yourself because I mean, you look around and nobody's really like checking for you. Nobody's making sure that you're good. And so that I like you said, boundaries, like that has been my best friend.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I can't. No, not
And
today.
saying no, that's right. Saying no is
You know,
is a practice.
yes. Constantly. Family, loved ones, friends. Like, no, I cannot go. No, I cannot do that. I'm stretched thin. Not today. Nobody knows what each person is going through, and half the time nobody cares. They just want you to do whatever it is they want you to do in that moment. And I agree
Oh,
with you. Being selfish has been the best thing I've done in my life.
yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it takes practice. It's not easy. It's not, especially if you are used to helping and you want to
Right.
help and be a caretaker and you're
Yes.
maybe even a people pleaser, it's not
Right.
easy to transition out of that, to shift out of that. So it takes
Yeah.
practice. And you may shock some people when you
Right.
first start saying no. They're like, what do you mean no? You always do the no. And you're
It's
right.
true.
No can mean not today.
Yep.
No doesn't necessarily have to mean 100% no. No
Right.
may mean, like for instance, the end of 21, at some point I had to shut off people wanting to get together and
Right.
book meetings
Right.
and talk about their books, because they
Right.
wanted to talk about publishing. And I was like,
Yeah.
you know what, December 1, we're cutting it off. We're
Yeah.
cutting it off.
Yeah.
And that may mean losing out on some money or losing out
That's
on some
true.
opportunities, but you
Yeah.
have to create that space for
Yep.
yourself, right?
That's so true. It's so important. And I can't imagine you in your space and, being a physician, being a mom, being a wife, and, just still juggling all these things. And then on top of that, you got to take care of your own health, and you're having people from all over the world coming to you for, as you being their physician, and you don't know what they got. You don't know what they got going on. And I'm pretty sure they pour their problems out on you. So you're dealing with the
Absolutely.
mental health side of it too.
Always, always.
And you're a therapist too.
I am. I am, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
I don't take it for granted. I know that God definitely put me in this position to help people with those things. I know
Right.
that. But
Yeah.
it's a burden, it's a lot because then, you carry that home. You know it. You know
Yep.
this. You carry that stuff home with you.
We do.
And so
We
you
do.
have to get rid of it and you have to take care of yourself so that you can go back the next day and do it again. But
Yeah.
but after a while, I mean, you need a break. You need a
Yes.
break.
Yes. I love it. And I want to ask you one thing on the holistic side. I know you're, going into that area, and I know what, walking away from the medicine aspect. What does that look like for you when it comes to the holistic side?
Yeah, so I've always been a little bit of Eastern medicine, a little bit of Western medicine. I've
Love
always
it.
tried to stay on top of what's happening in the natural medicine world
Love
because
it.
when my patients come to me, when my vegans come to
Yep.
me, when folks that don't want to take vaccines come
Right.
to me, or folks that don't want to do antibiotics, when they
Right.
come to me, I want to know what they're talking about, and I want
Yep.
to know, be knowledgeable, and
Mm-hmm.
be able to meet them in the middle.
That's true.
So I always try to stay up on my natural supplements and the vitamins that are helpful for different things. And so over time, I definitely have become more interested in vitamin supplementation, in IV or intravenous fluids, and
Okay.
rehydration. And so in May, I started a company called Serenity Hydration and Wellness, where people here in our area in North Carolina can get IV fluids,
I'm
and
coming.
get right. So
I
IV
love it.
fluids for dehydration or post-viral recovery, or your
Wow.
marathon, or you party
Okay.
too hard last night,
Got it.
right, or your skin glow. There are lots of
Okay.
reasons to use IV hydration and
Right.
vitamin like B12 shots and D3 shots and all that, which are very important right now for protecting us and helping our immune system be strong. So I'm definitely I've been looking around, Atlanta, New York,
That's what I was
California,
about to say. It's everywhere, but I have not seen
everywhere.
anything here.
Right.
Love it.
Right. So I was like, well, why not me?
Smart. Why not?
So
That's right. Why not me, sis? That's
why
right.
not?
Look,
And
so
I,
we
I
ain't
took
leaving nothing on the
support.
table. We ain't leaving nothing on the table.
Why? Let's try it. Let's try it and see. Let's see if people want it. And
I
the
love
people
it.
want it. The people want
Wow.
it. So I've been
That's
really
dope.
happy with the response we've gotten. And so when I quit medicine in March, we're going full throttle on the
Wow.
health and wellness side. And I want to also be available for wellness consults. So even though, my patients, some of them are heartbroken that
Right.
I'm leaving.
Right.
And so part of me shifting into the health and wellness realm is them still being able to make a consultation with me, once or twice
Exactly.
a year. Let's do an annual review.
Right.
Let's see how are your medicines treating you? Are you getting all your screenings? Do you have
Right.
questions you want a second opinion on? And we can meet and talk in those ways.
That is so smart. And
Yeah.
it's your own lane. You
Yeah.
know, people, everybody talk about, let me do this and I want to do this, what this person doing. You literally created your own lane. And
Yeah.
whenever there's a need in an area, you need to do it. And so for me, if it's nobody in this area doing it, I haven't heard anybody in this area doing it. I know for sure they do it in other cities, but I've never heard about them doing it here. And so when I had looked some of your stuff up, I had wrote it down, but I didn't know exactly what it was, and I didn't get a chance to like research this. I thought when you said it, I was like, oh, that's what that is. So I love
Yeah.
it. I gotta come. It's dope.
Yes.
You
And
gotta
we'll
do
come to you too.
it. That
We're
is amazing.
mobile.
So mobile. Y'all hear that?
Yes.
You can get a mobile IV.
That's right.
That's dope. So you got a whole group of girlfriends, y'all all hung over. They can get a whole group. Okay, so you can do
Yeah,
parties.
we'll meet you at the hotel. Yeah.
Wow. Y'all better
Yeah.
call Doc. Y'all better call Doc Swiner. I'm sorry. Look, y'all better call her.
Right.
How can
Yeah, I'm
they?
into it.
How can they reach you? How can they follow you? How can they get the books?
Yes. So on Instagram, I am at real DocSwiner, which is spelled, it's my last name with Doc in the front. On IG, and then on Facebook and Twitter, I'm just DocSwiner.
Okay.
The Serenity business also has an Instagram and a Facebook page, Serenity Hydration and Wellness. And the website is bit.ly/DocSwiner Hydration, but it's on my Instagram as well.
Okay.
All the books are listed on Amazon. And if you're interested in publishing or getting your book written, I have Swiner Publishing Company, and
Yes.
we can help you do that as well. Yeah.
Y'all better get it. Look, y'all better get it, sis. This got it going on. Okay. I love it. I love it. That's what this whole podcast has been about. Just collaborating and just highlighting girl bosses that's doing the thing. And you are definitely doing it in multiple areas of business, family. I mean, sis, you doing it. I love it. I'm so happy and proud of you. I think it's amazing
Proud
what
of
you're
you.
doing for the
Thank you.
community. This is dope. And I know you've been on Essence, WRL. Is it Birdie? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, Birdie Beauty
Okay.
Brand. You follow them
Okay.
on online. Yeah. I do
Yes.
some editing to make sure, they're medically sound. And I try to help WebMD do the same, edit some of their
Wow.
articles.
See?
Yeah.
Listen, y'all better get y'all book published. Look, y'all better get it together. Look, I ain't even know.
Let's
So
do
look,
it.
I got
Yeah, Ruth,
I
I
got
know you
something
have like
writing.
7 more books in you. I know you have like 6 or 7 more books. Let's do it.
Listen. Oh my God. And look, I'm glad you said it because so the end of the month, my workbook drops, which is a part of the book. And so with the book, everybody couldn't read it because it's a little PG, you know.
Okay.
But the workbook anybody can use, whether they're a kid, they're a teenager, someone older. It doesn't even matter if you're going through something, you need, something to kind of get your pep in your step. You want to, start your business, whatever it is. The workbook launches on the 29th of January.
It's
And
exciting.
yes, I'm so excited. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot believe I'm actually like printing my workbook right now. So
Yes.
it's nobody but God. So we're celebrating the 1 year anniversary of the book, January the 29th in Raleigh. So I'll be, dropping all those jewels in the next
Yes.
week or so. But yeah, man, I gotta get with you. I definitely gotta get with you because I know I do got another 1 or 2 more books in me. I think a little bit, but I
Yeah.
definitely need your expertise. So sis, keep doing the thing.
Come in
Y'all
for the launch and
follow
get
her.
your pre-party, pre-book launch glow going. I mean,
Exactly.
you're already glowing, but we can get you some more fluids
Yes,
before the launch.
I need everything. Okay, bags. I need all of that. Okay, so I need to give me IV.
I got you. I got you.
You are amazing. Keep doing your thing, sis. Thank you so much for coming up here. And if it's anything else you want to share with the people, feel free to. But I appreciate you so much.
Yes. No, y'all be safe, be well, and get vaccinated.
Yes, y'all heard it. Y'all go follow. And I put your Instagram information in the bio. So if you have any questions, guys, feel free to DM me. If you need any additional information for Dr. Nicole. And thank you so much, sis, for being up here. We will see you next Wednesday at 9:15 for Women Supporting Women Wednesdays. Good night,
Happy
guys.
J13.
Period.